The Boston Celtics had a pretty great regular season last season as well. Jason Tatum blossomed into a borderline superstar player. A lot of people are picking him to go even further with his game this season. Last year, they finished with third seed, 46 and 24. They lost to Miami 4-2 in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they're one piece away. And they're hoping that that piece is a combination of Jeff Teague and Tristan Thompson and the drafting of Neesmith and Peyton Pritchard. Who knows? But I mean, they lost Ennis Cancer, which I don't think is that big of a loss. Gordon Hayward, they signed and traded him, and now because of that, they have the trade exception worth $28 million. And Brad Wanamaker left, which I think was one of the worst backup point guards in the league. So, you swap him from Jeff Teague and you get better. I think the Boston Celtics, they're another one of those teams that this year is championship or bust. They have championship aspirations. Tristan Thompson is supposed to go into that team and be that leading rebounder. He's a pretty good agile defender. He can defend some perimeter guards. He's good in the paint. He does a good job on Joel Embiid. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that there is to like about Boston, but I'm just not sure how everything is going to mesh together. Who's going to step up? It's just really up in the air. Outside of Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, what is Kemba giving you? Because he's people target him on the defensive end. So he's a liability when he's on the court if he's not producing on offense.
Yeah, I like the Celtics. I think they're in a similar position to the Raptors where they have a lot of young talent that needs to step up. But I think that their young talent is on a different level. They have two guys in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown who I think have bona fide superstar potential. Maybe not Brown. Maybe Brown is more of a borderline star than superstar, but he took a huge leap last year, and they're both super young. So I think they have a really interesting team. That center spot concerns me. We've spoken about it. I think that $28.5 million trade exception is going to be crucial to their season because to me, Tristan Thompson just feels like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet hole. Like he's not
my heart?
He's not the long-term answer for them at center. He's not going to be the answer for them at center all season long or in the playoffs. He just feels like maybe a slightly better but older version of Daniel Tice. I don't even know if he's better than Daniel Tice. So I just feel like it was just for optics that they were bringing in another big man, but it wasn't the right guy. I think they need to go out there and target somebody like a Miles Turner or a John Collins or a Clint Capella that can really hold down that 5 position, and you can count on them on the court for 30 minutes a game in a playoff series. Tristan Thompson, Daniel Tice, Robert Williams, they're not that to me. So although I really love their depth, and I think Thompson is a nice backup. I think Teague is a nice backup. They did a nice job in the draft. And that young talent is going to carry them far. Come playoff time, that center spot really concerns me if they don't make a move with that trade exception.
I disagree with you on a few things.
I do too.
You keep saying John Collins. I don't know why you keep saying that. Like
he's an underrated interior defender.
Can't play D though. Like it's not. Stop saying whatever. All right, boom. So, no, I think I don't know. I guess I'm a little high on him more than everybody else. I think Jaylen Brown can be a superstar, and I think we're seeing what we could have seen if Danny Granger was healthy and Paul George got to that level. That dynamic wing 2-man duo. I think Jaylen Brown defensively, he's ahead of Jason Tatum. I think offensively, he's not better, but he's just as good on the offensive end. And I think Jason Tatum is also breaking the barrier on that superstar lineup. And I think Jaylen Brown can definitely be that guy. With the Kemba situation, he's a tricky one because people do target him defensively, but offensively, I feel like last year it was his first taste of real playoff juice. He played for Charlotte. They were never going to be anything. So last year was his first taste. He kind of was underwhelmed when he played pretty bad during the Toronto series, but I think this year it's going to see a different energy from him. I think he's going to come out. He's going to be better. Peyton Pritchard, who's a 4-year guy at Oregon, I think he's going to produce right away if they give him minutes. I like Robert Williams as a backup center. I think Tristan Thompson is a Band-Aid. I can't believe you stole mine, but I think Tristan Thompson is definitely a Band-Aid. I do think they need to get a center. But I think they're still going to – I think it is championship or bust. I think they still have that mindset that we're going to the championship because there's no team that's better than us. And I think rightfully so, they should have that mindset.
Look, I disagree with you and I disagree with Jack
You can't say my name. Well, I
things.
had to be a you.
I disagree because you just finished talking. I disagree with you because I do think that Jason Tatum is way better than Jaylen Brown offensively. I don't think I think there's a gap in terms of their offensive
I
game.
think in terms of the jump shot, there's a gap. I think if you put everything together, though, finishing ability, I don't think it's that much of a gap. But
Well, I think all around offensive player, I think there's a gap. And I actually disagree with both you guys on the point of Tristan Thompson. I think Tristan Thompson is not just a Band-Aid. You're talking about you talked about Tristan Thompson. Do you trust him to play huge minutes in the playoffs? Excuse me. Did that. He did that with Cleveland. He won a championship
5 years ago.
He was their best rebounder there. Last year, Tristan Thompson is coming off his best season last season.
Surrounded by what? They won 20 games.
Tristan Thompson is not some old geezer. He's way better than Daniel Tice. I'm just saying that you try to act like Daniel Tice and him. It's close. No, I don't think it's close. Is Tristan Thompson one of the best centers in the league? No, he's not. But he's not what you're trying to make him out to be. I think he's a really good starter, and he does a great job defensively on other bigs around the league, and he can switch on guards. He shot the most threes he's ever shot last season. Yeah, he was pretty good. He shot like 36%, I believe, or 35%.
If you don't have an affirmative stat for that, if you don't have a fact on that, don't say I believe.
No, it is a fact. I checked it, but that's what I'm saying.
He shot 39%, but he didn't even attempt a half a three a game.
No, yeah, he attempted 23 threes all season, but I'm just saying.
Oh, what? Come on.
He's getting better in that aspect. He's taking the shot. That's all I'm saying. And I think you guys have to give Tristan Thompson more respect. And Jack, he won't be off the bench. He'll be starting. Tristan Thompson will be their starter.
He shouldn't be.
Jack,
that's not good. That's not something to brag about.
Wait. Hold on, Rip. Why would Tristan Thompson not be starting for the Celtics?
Yeah, why is he?
No. Right now he should be starting, but that is an issue that they need to address with the $28.5 million of free cap space they have.
Jack, let me ask you this.
Jack, is that a Christmas shirt?
No, it's just a flannel.
Jack, let me ask you this. The Raptors starting center in the playoffs, who was it last season?
It
was Marc Gasol or was it Ibaka? Marc Gasol. Thompson is better than him. They made it far with Gasol starting. The Lakers, JaVale McGee was starting. I think Tristan Thompson is better than JaVale McGee. I'm just saying.
Oh, he didn't start all the time.
I know he didn't start all the time, but I'm just saying.
They also had Anthony Davis
center.
at the 4.
You're not okay, but you're not. You have Jason Tatum playing the 4 for the Celtics. I think,
and Jason Tatum is not an interior defender rebounder like Siakam and Anthony Davis are.
But I'm just saying, I think that Tristan Thompson is better than what you're giving him credit for. That's all I'm saying.
I think he would be I just want to say before you go, Rib, I think he would be a great backup option for a team with their aspirations. But when we're saying that it's championship or bust for them, I don't think Tristan Thompson is a championship center at this point in his career. You could bring up the Cleveland days, but he was playing with LeBron, Kyrie, and Kevin Love. Anybody could have been a championship.
Horrible every single playoff series. Kevin Love was horrible every single playoff series. Who's come on?
As the third option on a LeBron team? Everybody is. Chris Bosh's numbers dropped incredibly.
He probably was better than most guys, though.
Chris Bosh was actually efficient in the playoffs. Kevin Love was pretty bad efficiency-wise, too.
I want to ask this question because Tristan Thompson does bring that championship pedigree to Boston, a team who's been to the ECF. I think this would be their third time in his loss. Do you trust Tristan Thompson to guard bigs like Joel Embiid, Bam Adebayo, and Giannis for a full series? Joel,
Giannis
because you brought up the championship year, and the Warriors didn't have a deep offensive big that Thompson really had to guard, and he was bad in switches when Steph had him off the screen. So I'm asking you, do you trust Tristan against those teams?
For one, Giannis, whoever is matched up against him in the playoffs, it's a team effort to guard him. Even Toronto, with the amount of bigs that they had, it was a team effort. So no one person could guard Giannis. We know that.
No, I'm not saying, but I'm saying Serge Ibaka defensively.
And Embiid, Thompson has done a good job on Embiid in the past. You mentioned Bam Adebayo. I don't think Bam Adebayo is per se an offensive center that has great post moves and is great offensively. So I think he could do a good job on Embiid. And those are the only guys you're really worried about. And then Embiid, I think Philly, they did acquire shooters. We'll talk about them in a bit. But I still think with Simmons and Embiid on the court, you can still kind of compact the court to cheat a little bit on Embiid. So
Okay.
I think they could do a good job on him.
Okay.
That's
But okay,
my- like, that's where we differ. Is I just don't think I don't think that Philly's going to be as easy to guard this year, especially with Embiid. Like, I think there's going to be a lot more isolations with Embiid. And you mentioned, Giannis is a team effort, but it starts with, cutting the head off the snake as an individual. And one of the biggest things that he had going for them was Bam on Giannis. It's the reason
And
they
Jimmy.
defended them.
Bam and Jimmy.
And the Raptors had Ibaka. Like, it starts with one really solid
Correct.
interior defender
You can
that
have-
is versatile.
I mean,
And I don't think
you
that
could,
Tristan
you
Thompson
could,
is
you
that
could put
guy.
Jaylen Brown on Giannis the entire
But
game. And
what
then-
he's saying is, do you trust Thompson like they trusted Bam? Do you trust Thompson like they trusted Ibaka?
Bam can't guard Giannis individually.
No, we're talking about the back end, the help D, the guy in the back.
I do trust Thompson as a back end guy. I do.
That's what he's saying. He doesn't trust him. You do. That's what it is.
do. But needless to say, they have arguably one of the best head coaches in the NBA right now, and Brad Stevens. That's debatable. In my opinion, their starting lineup is Kemba, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Tristan Thompson, and their bench is going to be good. Tice or Robert Williams off the bench. They have Grant Williams,
Aaron Neesmith,
Jeff Teague, Javante Green, which is a guy that Celtics Twitter loves, Neesmith, Ojale, Carson Edwards. Like, they got a lot of guys. It's going to be hard. It's going to be tough for Brad Stevens to allocate these minutes. I'm not sure if Aaron Neesmith is going to play so much this season. Based on the depth of this roster, it's going to be really tricky.
I think. Oh, sorry, Jeff.
No. You can go, Riv.
I think with Carson Edwards, he kind of ended up in the G League last year. I think Aaron Neesmith is going to play just off the strength of his jump shot, and they're going to need that. But I do think Kemba, Smart, Brown, Tatum, Tristan Thompson. I think Thompson is going to start. I think Tice. I think Peyton Pritchard in training camp is going to show his IQ. He's going to show his 4-year seniorship, and he's going to show that he's going to be playing now. Jeff Teague is going to play. I do think Grant Williams is also going to have a bigger role this year. He's not Draymond, but he kind of gives you that Draymond energy, a small big that can play defense, and he kind of get to the back. He's kind of strong too. So I think they're going to roll out those 4 or 5 guys: Neesmith, Grant Williams, Tice, Teague, and Pritchard. Those are going to be the 5 guys that get the rotation minutes in the bench.
I like all those pieces coming off the bench, but to me, that sounds like a bunch of nice assets to throw with a $28.5 million trade exception and find a better center. That's just what I look at it as. And I think they have a really nice team, but when you have such a black hole defensively at point guard, I feel like you need that back end to be much better. And I don't know if Thompson is that guy. That's my only concern for them, though, because I think that Jason Tatum is going to take yet another step. I think Jaylen Brown is going to be right there with him. And that's going to be one of the best wing duos in the league, if not the best. And if they do that, they're going to be one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. There's no question about it. No matter what happens at center, they'll be competing come Eastern Conference Finals time.
Do you guys think Kemba gets traded?
I don't think so, because I think his contract is way too hefty. I don't know what team will pick him up. It was hard for a team to trade for Westbrook. Kemba's contract is huge, and he's not the player that Westbrook is. So who would? Maybe the Knicks. I don't know. The Knicks, they're desperate. Maybe the Celtics try to trade for Mitchell Robinson. There's a rift between Mitchell Robinson and the Knicks right now. They don't like
that would be incredible.
They don't like professionalism too much. The Knicks need a point guard, so maybe Kemba for Mitchell Robinson. You slot in Jeff Teague at the starting point guard slot. I don't know. Maybe you get Frank Ntilikina in the deal too. Have a defender.
I love the sound of that. I love the sound of that.
You love the sound of Frank Ntilikina?
No. Of Mitchell Robinson. And
okay.
That deal, if you could find a suitor for Kemba Walker, I think that makes 100% sense. Even though you'd be selling low after a poor offseason, he just doesn't fit what they want to do. And they have a guy like Marcus Smart that can slide in at the 1 and be your point guard, or Jeff Teague can slide in at the 1, even though I think he's better suited off the bench at this point. They have that bench depth that they don't need to rely on Kemba Walker if they can get him off the books, especially if they could bring in a center like Mitchell Robinson. That would be a great move. But another team, I would not be surprised at all to see them make a move, especially considering they got to spend that trade exception at some point. So
I mean, my projection, they finished third in the East last season. I think they'll finish third this season as well. I can see them as high as 1, honestly. I could see them being the first seed in the Eastern Conference this season. That's their ceiling, and I think they can be as low as 4. I don't see them dropping below 4. They're as high as 1, but I ultimately see them finishing at 3 where they finished last season as well.
Yeah, I have them finishing at 2, but I think they could finish anywhere as high as 1 or as low as maybe 5. Again, it depends on what those other teams do in the Eastern Conference, but I think they're going to have a really nice regular season, especially, and they're going to be a contender. There's no question about it.
I also have them at 2. I think they're going to come in and they're going to be on fire. Jason Tatum, I heard he's 6'10" now, so big guy. But I have them between the 2 and 4 range. I think they should. I don't think they finish less than 4. Honestly, I'm actually just being nice. I think they're going to finish at 2, maybe 3, but I don't see them going 4 unless a big injury happens.